So I've been thinking a lot about the enabler today, and I had an interesting interaction with my enabler dad. So my family dynamic is Narc mom, enabler dad, golden child brother, and then I'm the default scapegoat. Um, and yeah, I try to limit my interactions with everyone. But anyway, I had an interaction with my dad this morning, and he's been the enabler for my Narc mom for like 50 years. And man, he is beat down, like physically, mentally, spiritually, everything. And I was out mowing the acreage because we live on the same property, and I was like gassing up the mower and getting ready to get to work, and he came, putzing out, and how's it going? Kind of just, I could tell he kind of wanted some good energy, wanted to connect and chat a little bit, and man, I could tell like she'd been railing on him about, it's like the Narc gets so worked up over just like the stupidest little things, and anytime you own property, there's a lot of maintenance involved, and ideally, everyone works together. They're cohesive, and you make a plan, and you execute it, because there's like, they got a bunch of trees, there's pasture, there's irrigation, it's a whole thing. And the Narc just kind of like gets these ideas and then just hammers them into people the way she thinks things should be done. And I'm like Gray Rock Ninja, so I don't mess with her, but she just hammers on my dad, and then in turn he comes out to like tell me what needs to happen. But I could tell, man, she'd been really hammering him on these. There's like, they hired a tree company to come in and do some tree work, and he's still working. He retired, but he had to go back to work. That's a whole nother thing. But anyway, so he left her up to kind of managing the project, and of course, she shit the bed with it, and paying thousands of dollars, and really nothing got done. So there's still a ton of work to be done. And the big thing is like mowing the fields and the pastures. I need access, and there's all these branches that hang down super low, and you can't get the mower in there, and they hit you in the head. And she's hell-bent on just keeping those there, and she doesn't want people seeing her and whatever. And so just simple requests of, hey, can we limb things up and do the job that should have been done when you paid the guys, turns into a whole just thing. And so he's just like, oh, trying to keep the peace, and gotta limb up those branches, I'll see, oh. And then, so whatever, forget all that. What I was thinking about was, within that dynamic of the enabler and the narcissist, it's like all the power you perceive is with the narcissist, because they're the loudest, they're the most vocal, they're the most energetic, they're the ones who are really the driving force. And so the perceived power is in the hands of the narcissist. And my feeling is, my hypothesis with all this is no. And it's not even a hypothesis, it's the facts. It's like everything the narcissist does is a smokescreen, and it's a house of cards. There's nothing behind it. There's nothing, it isn't grounded in reality. It's all like a fictional story that they make up in their mind, and they're executing their vision, their distorted vision, through like manipulation and coercion and just like brute force of like hammering their vision into people of how they perceive things should be, and where everyone should sit, where everyone should stand. And so, the enabler fulfills that role of enabling this person to execute their insane vision. But all the power is with the enabler, because the enabler really straddles, they're in the world of the Narc, but then they're straddling, they're in the world of the victim as well, and the victims. And all it would take for the house of cards and the fucking smokescreen to vanish is the enabler saying, no. That's all it would take. No, we're not doing that. No, you're not going to behave that way. No, you cannot treat people this way. No, you're done. And you know, like with my family, it's like my dad is like grinding. You know, he retired, and then, you know, they're living above their means. So, you know, they're just trying to float their life on credit. Because, you know, the fucking Narc, man, like, she spends money like it's going out of style, man. And she gets these dogs. She gets these like rescue animals, which is cool, whatever. I mean, but she gets these animals, and then she dumps like so much money into taking care of these animals. And they're all sick and diseased. And I remember she got this one dog. It was a nice dog, but yeah, he's a stray. You know, he was like a stray for years, and he was huge. And he kept like eating all this other, like, they'd get loads of manure for their garden, and the dog would go out there and just like gorge on the manure. And then it would like mess up his stomach, I guess, and it would cause his stomach to like twist and turn and flip. So then they'd have to take the dog to the vet, and it's like 5G to like operate on the dog. And they did that twice. And then the dog died like a month later. And I was like, damn, man, like, why are you? So yeah. So her whole thing is like, live above their means, you know, piss away money for entertainment. And then, you know, then my dad's got to go back to work, and he's back to work grinding in his retirement. And, you know, thank God he could get his job back and start earning again. But he's, you know, he's off grinding, you know, earning and, you know, contributing to their household. And then she's just like in la la land, just like, you know, on their property, dancing around, doing whatever she wants. You know, just blowing money and in turn, you know, treating everyone like shit and running the show. And, you know, in all actuality, all the enabler would have to do is just a simple, like, no, you cannot behave this way. You can't treat me this way. You can't treat our children this way. You can't treat our grandchildren. You can't be mean. You can't be bad. Like, we hold people to a higher level of standards. And so my feeling is that the Narc is secretly fucking paranoid of this. Like, they know that it's a sham. They know their whole world is an illusion, and it isn't based on anything. It isn't based on love. You know, it's based on deception and lies and hate. And they know this, and I think they're scared. I think she's scared of the enabler pulling the plug. And, you know, I sense the fear, because it's an interesting scenario. When my family and I first moved back to the property, they had this big shop. It's like this huge 40 by 60 shop. And they had it rat piled, man, with like garbage and like just years of crap. And so when I showed up, I was like, hey, let's get this shop functional, because my dad had just retired, and he's loved woodworking. And I'm a classically trained luthier. I went to violin building school. So like, I'm really into woodworking and you know, building furniture and just that craft. And I thought it'd be cool to start a woodworking business with my dad, you know. And we have this huge shop, and I had I was like floating off of savings. We had savings, and we were either going to buy a house, or we decided to move to their property and fix up the guest house, and it was going to be this whole family thing. Which, whatever. I mean, watch my old videos, and you can learn that messed up story. But anyway, part of that was me investing in all this woodworking equipment and remodeling the shop. And so him and I, you know, we got after it. We cleaned it all out, and did a ton of garbage runs and, you know, Goodwill runs, and got the space, like, because it was just completely piled. There was just like pathways, and it's this huge shop, and it's super nice. I put in a wood stove, cleaned all the windows, I redid all the lighting, the electrical, insulation, I did plywood on all the walls, and then brought in a full woodworking shop. Like I had got a CNC machine, I got all, everything. Imagine high school wood shop, and that's what it was. And so him and I were like really bonding over setting up this space, and it was like a real opportunity to like imagine and create and like connect and just like do something positive and move forward. And he was all excited about starting a woodworking business, in his retirement. And I didn't realize it at the time because I was still under the spell, man. I hadn't woken up to the Narc spell. And she got out there just and this is one of their tactics. Is it's like the Machiavellian incrementalism. And dude, she's like a master at it. She just incrementally started planting, these like, oh, your father, and he's up to stuff, and I don't trust him, and he's using the credit cards, and just kind of painting this picture and really driving that wedge in between our relationship. And what was happening was she was sensing him beginning to kind of like separate from her, because her and I are completely opposite. We're opposed, even though she's doing the spell on me, but like I'm of the love and she's of the hate. And then the enabler's kind of right in the middle. And like she was feeling him go in that direction. And I remember she got me all whipped up about something that he was up to. I don't remember. And she's like, yeah, I'll just divorce him. And I'm just like, yeah, he's an asshole or whatever she, spun me up about. And really it was nothing, it wasn't real. She just kind of, that was her tactic and strategy to drive a wedge in between our relationship, and then fully get him back so she can have him under control, because she knows, man, her whole world is a house of cards. And that is, that is one of their main weaknesses. It's delusion, and it's rooted in fear and hate and jealousy, all the bad things. And I just think, man, like, I don't think my dad, I was thinking today, I was like, okay, I'm gonna like really try to just like to help him. And it's hard because, when you're a kid and you're getting hammered on, emotionally, mentally, verbally by someone that's causing like really serious damage that will basically destroy your entire life. And like another parent is there and they're just like, what, complacent? Because no, they're actually guilty. If you're not helping a child, you're not protecting your own child from something that is causing damage to them. You're just as guilty as the person who's doing it. And it's hard to come back from that and be like, oh, it's all in the past, and it's forgiven, and let me just like shell out time and resources and energy to help you because you're so downtrodden and tied to this terrible person, and it's destroyed your life. So it's hard to want to carry that weight for someone else. And I was thinking about it today. I was like, yeah, I'm really gonna want to do that for my dad. And I was thinking like I could talk about it and share it with you and say, I want to really do this for this person. But then I was like, man, like I had to do it for myself, and he's got to do it for himself. And that's how it is for all of us. Like, no one's going to hold your hand through this. You have to do it for yourself. And he's got to wake up. And yeah, I can give him some good vibes and like good energy and try to, show him a brighter day. But at the end of the day, it's all on him. And he's been in it for 50 years. So obviously he is complacent and comfortable in it, and he's used to it, and it's a comfortable place for him to be. But he has all the power. He holds all the cards in this entire demented family dynamic that I was born into. He holds all the power because, he's working. He supports their household. the property's in his name. I mean, they're married, so whatever, it's joint, but it's him. He's the one that's providing all the finances for her to play with, the home, everything. And it's like, how do you convince someone that you hold all the cards, you have all the power, and all you have to do is just say, no, man, just stand up for yourself? And how good would that feel for someone who'd been beaten down for 50 years of your life? Your fucking life has just been to service of this like demon, man. And I mean, I've tried, man, we like had this cool scene down in Puerto Vallarta, south of there, in this little town called Yalapa in Mexico. And my wife and I kind of found it through some friends, and we're going down there. And I was thinking for my dad, I was like, if you're a boomer and you want to retire, check out Puerto Vallarta. It's a major airport, Mexico. You can fly in there. Like, the healthcare is stellar. There's good food. And there's a ton of like super kind people, and there's a ton of like international people, and some really nice Hispanic women. And I was thinking for my dad, like, yeah, he could just bail the NARS and just live off his, retirement, which would work down there because cost of living's a lot cheaper, and live in a little beach town and kick it and like have a cool, Mexican wife, and we could all like go down there and be cooking tacos and food and going fishing. It'd be killer. And we could like leave the NARS back up in La La Land. But he's not going to do it. I kept telling him, I was like, dude, you'd love it down there. And maybe one day, but I don't think so, man. So, that's what I'm thinking is the narcissist knows it's a house of cards, and they're doing all they can to protect themselves, protect their smoke screen, protect their house of cards, this delusional reality of them. And they know that the enabler has all the power. And so they'll do all they can to make sure that that person is close to them, they're guarded and they're watched, and they know for a fact, and they'll drive wedges, in between any relationship with that enabler. Because yeah, if he wasn't there, towing the line for her, she'd be toast, man. I mean, I don't know what she'd do. I mean, she can't get along with people. If you can't get along with people, you're done, man. Your whole world relies on manipulation. And when you're old and you're not some young hot thing like you used to be, people aren't going to want you around. And, I don't know. So there is a way out for the enablers, but maybe not. Maybe it's their karma, for being complicit in the abuse. Maybe that's what it is. But anyway, I'll keep you updated, and the saga continues. But I appreciate your time. Thank you.